First house here is not in Orange Township?
Yeah. It doesn't
The
have
house
shades,
is.
not me.
No.
Oh, so he's under Genoa
I think it's
then, right?
72.
Well, it could be 62. Still up in the middle.
We're live.
I'd like to call meetings to order for Orange Township Board of Zoning Appeals for Thursday, August 19th. Mr. Beard, would you call roll, please?
Mr. Miller,
Here.
Mr. Oster,
Here.
Mr. Shipley. Here. Mr. Trevs,
Here?
Ms. Sandar.
Yep.
Thank you. I'd like to swear in any witnesses. Anyone who attends to testify, please raise your right hand and be sworn. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you shall give should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? State, I do, and when it's your turn to offer testimony, state your full name, address, and affirm that you've been sworn in. One thing before we get started, also please make sure everybody's cell phones are turned off.
Good idea.
The first hearing will be on VA 21-07.
Nope, we're changing
No, 09.
9.
09, excuse me.
the agenda change. All right, the first case is variance case VA-21-09. The applicant and owner is Corey Crock. That site is 5796 Highland Hills Drive, Westerville, Ohio. Parcel ID number of 318-140-06-012-000. It's zone single-family plain residential district. They're seeking an area variance from rezoning case 3314 Hills at Highland Lakes to allow for an existing house to remain within the side yard setbacks. The applicant is requesting an area variance from rezoning case 3314 Highland Hills at Highland Lakes of 1 feet and 8 inches into the side yard setback in an area zone single family plain residential district. The surrounding areas are all zoned single family plain residential district. They have 2 that are single family residences. They have Highland Hills Drive and a single family residence, and then behind is a wooded area. Provided with a zoomed out aerial of the site. And then a zoomed in aerial of the site. And for the staff review, there's a variance request. The side yard requirement is 12 feet 6 inches in the house. They're showing at 10.7 feet from the side yard setback. We're requesting a 1 foot 8 inch variance into the left side yard setback, which is a 14% request. You were provided with some site photos from Google Street, Google Satellite, and also some site photos. The cone represents where the edge of the property line is and where the house is located. And then to give a little history of why this application is here, there was a submittal with your packet that I had put together for the trustees to know. This property was originally built, and when it was built, it was approved through Genoa Township. Genoa Township standards for side yard setbacks in this same development is 10 feet on the side yard. So it was in compliance with Genoa Township when it was built. Since then, the tax district for the property has become Orange Township tax district and not split. So based on legal counsel's review, they would have to follow the Orange Township setbacks, which is 12 feet and a half. So based on that, they would need a variance. Legal counsel had suggested that they go through the variance process to get the variance, since it's already standing and already approved through Genoa. This would help alleviate any issues if the applicant and the owner would sell the house. There are some possible issues with selling it, with financing and different things, title companies looking at the zoning stuff for when you sell a house. So this is kind of to clear things up, make things legal on the Orange Township side. We had a couple residents call that lived nearby, and when I explained it to them, they said they had no issues, and some of them didn't have a clue. The one house actually is in Genoa Township right next to them. Didn't realize that their house was Orange and theirs was Genoa right next to each other, so there's definitely some confusion there. So this is just trying to clear it up. The owner is here if you have any questions for him.
Come forward. Do you want to state your name and address for the record?
Sure. My name is Corey Kroc. I live at 5796 Highland Hills Drive.
And would you affirm that you've been sworn in?
Yes.
It appears, and please go ahead and say anything you'd like to say. It seems like there's a whole lot of confusion, but you're here based on legal precedents.
Yeah, obviously we bought the house about 8 years or so ago and weren't aware of this issue until just recently. So based on talking with Jeff, and the recommendation was to, let's fix this. So I'm here today to hope that goes through.
Well, I can see some confusion. You got a Westerville address, Genoa Township, and Orange Township.
Right.
This as long as you don't get lost going home. Any comments from the board?
Yeah, I mean, you're not adding anything to the property at this time. You're just looking to get the existing structure, patio, and everything that's in place. Okay, that's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure I was clear on that. And I think we've kind of discussed that. I think we got the due diligence to stick with what they did originally when the house was built and to approve.
Mr. Trev? Any questions?
Any questions?
No comments?
Any questions on this one? I would make a motion to approve variance case VA 21-09 as outlined, especially for its unique circumstances and the, I really don't think it's going to affect anything. It's a very minor deal anyway, as far as the variance at 1.8. And I don't know, it's just one of those mixed up, nobody really knew who was controlling what.
I'd second that motion.
Motion made by Mr. Oster to approve variance case application VA-21-09, second by Mr. Shipley. Those voting, Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Oster,
Yes.
Mr. Shipley,
Yes.
Mr. Trevs,
Yes.
Ms. Sindar.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Good luck to you. Hope this resolves everything.
Thank you later.
Thank you.
The next case is VA 2107. This is a rezoning case.
All right, next case is variance case VA-21-07. The applicant and owners are David and Sarah Allen, Site is 6040 Weeping Rock Drive, Lewis Center, Ohio.
I know.
Zone Single Family Plan Residential District. They are seeking, they have two requests. They're seeking an area variance from rezoning case 13-0507, Woods at Weeping Rock, to allow for a 9 feet variance into the 35-foot rear yard setback. Also requesting a variance from the Orange Township resolution to allow for the existing 4-foot fence to remain. The surrounding areas to the north is Zone Farm Residential District. It's Olentangy High School owns, and then also North Road Park that the township owns. To the south, east, and west are single-family plan residential districts, all single-family homes. You're provided a zoomed-out aerial of the site. You also had a zoomed-in aerial of the site. And for the staff review, we're just going to go over variance request 1, which is the setback for the swimming pool first, and then we'll discuss the fence second. The rear yard setback is 35 feet. The swimming pool will encroach 9 feet into the rear yard setback. The applicant is requesting that variance. This will be about a 25% request. You have Exhibit 1 is the site plan showing the proposed variance setback with the pool to the property line. And you have site photos from Google Street, one from Google Satellite. You have one site photo. So I'll bring up some more. So. Grab some airs. And then one item that we did not put in the staff packets is the letters of support. They were provided to you at the table. We did not hear from any neighbors after sending out the notices. They do have 2 of the neighbors that are in favor of it. The applicant is here. If you have any questions for them.
Mr. Allen?
Please state your name and address for the record.
David Allen, 6040 Weeping Rock. Let me just kind of go into my.
Sure. And if you would affirm you've been sworn in?
Yes. I guess kind of with COVID, we built the house about 5 years ago, 6 years ago. Kids were small at the time, kind of getting older now, so 10 and 9. With COVID kind of locked down, we really haven't gone to pools, and that kind of got us thinking. We really never had any idea or thought to get a pool. I mean, hence we already have a patio that we just put in a couple of years ago. So to kind of make room for the proposed pool, the patio is going to have to get tore out. So you can see clearly this was kind of an afterthought pool. Again, first time building a house, really had no idea what a setback was. Kind of learned a lot throughout this process. Essentially, no build line, can't kind of go past it. So what we're asking to be able to do is kind of get a pool far enough away from the house, but kind of still staying within the guidelines without encroaching too much into that 35%. So hence kind of the 9 foot would essentially we'd be asking for a 25% variance on that.
And I do have some additional site photos that are working now. And also in the application was the conditional approval from their HOA for this plan.
Oh.
The cone is where the edge of the pool would be. And the property line actually goes beyond the fence just a little bit. So if the fence is not the property line, it does go just about 18 inches or so past that.
Mr. Allen, I have a quick question for you.
Yeah.
It appears, according to the site plan that you provided, there's a 30-foot drainage
Easement?
easement to the river.
Is that something we should be concerned with, Jeff? The drainage easement?
Or Delaware County Water?
That would be up through Delaware County to look at. The zoning has no control over an easement.
Well, I know we had one before that ran out. Matter of fact, I think it went through that and into another one. And, right here.
That was Evan's home.
Yeah.
Evan's home. Yeah.
While they're debating, I have a question.
Sure.
There's a retaining wall around the pool.
Yes.
Does that have a foundation?
No, it won't have a footer on it. It's essentially, it's gonna be about 12 inches to 18 inches high, so it's just kind of holding some of the dirt back, is all it's really doing. So there's no footers on there, it won't be permanent, it's just gonna
And
be
there's
stacked rock.
No foundation in the concrete patio around the pool?
No, that, you're talking about what you're seeing right there?
No, what?
Oh, it's just gonna be
proposed?
poured concrete.
Okay,
So this is going to actually be, in this whole 9 foot, you're gonna be 4 foot into the drainage easement too, with everything, once it's done. The wall, concrete.
Yes, correct.
How much room is between the, Jeff, this is probably, how much room is between 35-foot setback and the drainage easement?
It should be 5 feet.
5 foot.
Okay.
It's that dotted line on your map.
I seen it, I didn't see a number associated with it, so I'll give it to that.
Well, I think it's because that colored pool got laid over the original that covered up.
There's another one in there, without pool on it, and that's the one I was.
You know, I thought I saw that, but I was leafing through here and I didn't see it again.
So that answers the question, I put it 4 feet into the drainage.
Yeah, oh, here it is. Yeah, into the drainage easement.
Again, for what it's worth, you can see on the plot map on the right-hand side, kind of in the northwest corner, essentially right on the fence line or my property line, there's a drainage basin, which the whole backyard slopes to the back right-hand corner towards the basin.
and the size of the pool is 14 by 30?
Correct, yes.
What, since you're 9 feet into the easement, what determined the depth of that pool, that 14?
Well, we could have gone bigger, but again, I didn't want to get too far into the easement, so I guess trying to maximize.
Well, could you have gone less, is my question.
Well, the pool has to be 10 feet out from the house.
Right,
So we have 12 foot away from the house to the edge of the, well, actually then there's gonna be kind of like a foot wall around it, and then so you kind of got 10 feet, and then you got a foot essentially of the surround of the pool, and then you got the fiberglass. So we're at 12 feet essentially from the edge, from where my house starts until we actually get into the water. 12 feet, and then 14 feet for the width of the pool gets you to 26 feet.
right, but
Yes.
it's the 14 feet that I'm asking about. Could you have gone 10? Could you have gone 12?
No, the only one on that one, it's either 14 or 16 width.
Okay, that's the style of the pool.
Correct, it's gonna be a fiberglass pool, so it's not gonna be a, kind of a pour it and, you get what you want.
So you're saying it cannot be 12 at all,
No, this style
this style?
in this pool.
It has to be 14.
It's either 14 by 30 or 16 by 30, so we're going with the smaller to kind of stay out of that easement for the setback as much as possible.
Even me, I had the same type of question because like you're going to the drainage easement like 4 feet. So I was about to ask the same question. So
Have you checked with the water and sewage people for what they thought of that, or?
No,
Going into their
again, this is
easement?
all kind of new to me, and it was the whole 35 foot, I guess, it was one of the things wasn't aware of, to be quite honest with you.
The drainage easement piece, which Probably sounds to you like whatever I stuff on.
Yeah.
Because that's not just for your home.
Sure.
So that's the.
I have one additional question. Sure. In our site photo, behind your fence, there appears to be a flag set.
That's my neighbor. That's, are you talking about that one right there, or there's one on the other side of my house? Swing set, kind of has a colored.
Kind of looks like a
That one?
fort. That might be it.
That's it.
That's my neighbor to the left, to the east, or to the west.
Yeah, that's neighbor.
So the drainage thing is in your yard?
Yeah.
It goes into the
Yeah,
ground?
yeah.
It's over there in the corner there? Yeah, right there?
Yeah.
You can tell where everything slopes in right there.
Yeah, 'cause
Big time.
my property is actually about a foot and a half on the other side, so when we put the fence in, I didn't want to have the fence going right over top of the drain because you had to access it. So I moved our fence in, so the drain appears to be in my neighbor's yard, but it's not. I mean, we share that with my neighbor, and if you look on the plot map, you can see the black square, you see squarely right down the middle of the property line.
So that's the drain that drains the,
Yeah, kinda like
the back end of all those houses in the line.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
kind of
Right.
slopes it up.
And the reason I'm kind of familiar with that is I had a friend up here in Worthington Hills that had an issue with drainage that back there by his fence, and it's like every winter it would shove the fence and the poles out of the ground. You know, about a half an inch.
Yeah.
And every year, and then
Yeah, I haven't had any issues, our fences.
I went out and
right on
helped
the-
him
Right on the ground, I mean, that's,
readjust the fence on the poles. We didn't cut the
Yeah.
poles off because they kept coming up.
okay.
But yeah, I know that can be an issue with water drainage, but do you think that that's something that we could ask him to check with them to get their approval and okay for going into their easement?
You can put that on as a condition.
Okay,
From zoning side, we've been told by legal counsel, we cannot stop somebody from going into an easement.
Right.
Right.
okay,
But,
Okay.
but since they're asking for a variance, that could be a condition that you could put on it.
okay.
Well,
Yeah, that's-
that's one of the criteria that we can use too. Does it affect government services?
Mm-hmm.
The issue being that it could have an ill effect on other property.
Oh, I'm not trying to flood anybody out. I get it. Something I wasn't aware of.
Yeah,
so
right.
More than happy to kind of run it down and see what the outcome is. The last thing I want to do is put a hole in and cause issues and have more headaches, so.
Well, it's not just a flooding issue, it's also the chlorine and everything else that potentially can
Sure.
go into it.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, it's the same question I'm asking in another way. Because for me, I think that's the biggest concern. I understand about the style, you said it has to be 14 by 30 or 16. Is there a different style which is smaller? You could consider,
I mean, I guess we didn't consider, I mean, it was just, there's gonna be marginal, I mean, I guess the cost, so we're already incurring so much cost to get the pool in. And again, I guess we're trying to get something that the kids and everybody can, that it makes sense, that after we go through all the expense, to make sure that it makes sense, it's kind of worth our time to get a pool that everyone, it's a good size for everybody. And again, I don't think we're maxing too much, but again, we want to kind of maximize what we are spending on the project. So I didn't want to
Unfortunately,
go any smaller, I guess, if that's the kind of.
Is that a school that's right behind you?
yes.
Yeah.
So that's Fulton High School, but directly behind me, all that woodland, that's essentially, no build. I mean, you can see that kind of triangular shape. You can see off to the right-hand side, it's all, North Orange Park, soccer fields, and directly behind my house
Right.
is, just brush area. It's never been cleared out, never will.
Yeah. It looks like there's a path that accesses in there from
Yeah, that's.
your next door neighbor's
Township,
house.
But now you're kind of getting, they stopped because now you're getting into school property.
Mm-hmm.
any other questions from the board? Mr. Allen, you have anything else you want to add?
No, I guess not this time.
I have, this is a question to the
Please.
board. So I understand about like this particular situation, but if tomorrow someone comes from the same, the same area, asking for the same variance, then we might be in the position not to say no to them, so, same neighborhood, same street, same backyard, if they come up with the same concern,
Well, you're right, anything we do, it does set precedents.
because it's drainage easement. If it is just nothing, then I wouldn't be concerned at all, but,
I think if, we have an option, as Jeff mentioned, setting a condition, if nothing else.
we have done something like this in the past, and then it was so hard for us to circle back and support the other clients, so this being a drainage easement, I think the board really should consider.
Well, it's also a setback,
Mm-hmm.
and 25% is pretty steep.
I realize that should not provide suggestions to an applicant. But have you considered, based on our comments, to talk to Delaware County Water before you?
Certainly. I hadn't, again, I wasn't aware of this. I guess it's just my own ignorance on what I'm looking at first time kind of going through the process. So, I'm more than happy, and I'm not trying to impact my neighbors whatsoever. At the end of the day, it's the last thing I want to do. I'm just trying to get a pool for my family.
Yeah, don't get me wrong too, because
No,
we have to
that's all.
protect the, neighborhood and, thank you.
If that's the case, if you would like to contact Delaware County,
Is it Delaware County Soil and Water?
Yeah. So,
what you may want to do is request a
Survey?
a continuance for this. And that would,
Can I ask for a continuance?
where are you at in the process of the pool?
I'm right there. I can't sign a contract until I have this. So, I think I've already given, we have drawings already done, architect drawings. We've already contacted several different companies. We're ready to go. I'm just was not signing on the dotted line until I got approval, because, at the time of signing, I get to put a percentage down on the pool. So I'm there. I've done the right work up to this point.
Well, since we're not supposed to throw that in there, I say we just move forward with whatever we feel. If we don't think 9 foot is too egregious into the entire, or into our setback, let's put it that way. And just put in a condition that he should consult Soil and Water to make sure before he possibly wastes any money and puts his name on the dotted line.
Well, that's what I was kind of getting at, is if the issue is going to be, we would like something from Delaware County Soil and Drainage, and that's going to be the stopping point. If we made that a condition, that would allow him to move forward sooner than having to wait for next month's meeting if he asked for a continuance.
Very true.
If they get that.
Yeah, well, it would end our,
Right.
Yeah.
It would be on, right, so if he made that a condition.
we would say yes or no,
Right.
and then, he could move forward with,
If it was a board approval, right.
right.
that way you won't have to be putting a deposit down if they say no.
Yeah, I'm well aware of risk, and I'm risk averse, so I'm absolutely not doing anything until I got the okay from whoever it needs to be.
And your HOA gave you conditional approval based upon.
Upon you guys.
Yeah.
I
That's what
didn't want to get the cart before the horse.
Yeah, well, you
I
know
didn't want to
what?
come here and you guys say yes, and then they say no, and it's,
I've been in that position,
Yeah.
and I went all the way to the insurance company.
okay, yeah, I'm trying to avoid.
And they
just
said
trying
no.
get everything in line.
they wouldn't insure it, so, you know.
It's a 13% variance on the drainage. Remember how we have our.
Yes, right,
Right.
yes.
So that's
Right.
13% just on the
On the
drainage.
drainage, 25% overall.
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And 25% is considered, more than 25% would be substantial.
That's what we.
More than 20% is substantial.
More than 25.
25.
Based on legal,
Yeah.
based on legal, more than
Yeah.
25 is substantial. So, I mean, technically, you guys could ask for a continuance if you want, if you're thinking, I guess there's a couple options where you could, if you wanted a continuance to see, because there is a chance that Soil and Water say, we're okay, but not that far into it. So then maybe he has to redesign, so he has to move it to the 10 feet from the house and not 12. So he might have to redesign it, so.
And in the past, you know,
Or you
we
can
had
put a
done
condition on
similar stuff like
Right,
that.
so you could continue it if you want to see proof, or you could put a condition on it that he has to provide it to the zoning department before we can approve a permit.
Either way, we're still looking at 9 foot into our easement.
Yes, that's what, 25%.
Yeah.
That's what.
So, you know, and 25%'s always been substantial.
I'll make a motion for VA 2107 to approve the variance. But that is based on approval of what we can approve. Delaware County Water, that's going to be strictly up to you.
Okay.
But I would take strong credence.
Can I ask for clarification?
Yeah.
So do you want to hear back from me? Because again, I'm not doing anything if they say no.
It would be a part of the condition of
Okay,
approval.
so do I supply then?
You would have to provide.
Yeah, just send it to Jeff.
Gotcha.
So they're gonna need plans, making it very clear what you intend to do and how far you intend to get into the drainage easement.
Yeah.
They're gonna have to sign off on that
Yeah.
in some form of fashion. some
Yeah,
form.
yeah.
That would be a condition.
Yeah.
To approve that.
Sure. So if they're good,
Yeah,
then we're
and
good.
they may say, we're
Not
fine
still-
with it, go ahead, and, you know,
Okay, then I'll just send everything to Jeff and then it's
Yes.
official.
you're good to go.
Good deal.
Yeah. Yeah,
That way, if someone comes after
No.
you, like, you will be fine.
I hear you.
Yeah,
and I will second his motion.
good luck.
All right, motion made by Mr. Miller to approve variance case VA-21-07 for the variance request number 1 for the setback, pending the soil and water review and approval. Second by Mr. Oster. Who is voting? Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Oster,
Yes.
Mr. Shipley,
Yes.
Mr. Krebs,
Yes,
Ms. Sundar.
Yes,
Mr. Beard, that's, approval by Delaware County.
Mhm.
So,
Yep, that's it.
I'm sorry, I didn't give this to Delaware County.
Yep.
Then we'll go to variance request number 2 is for the fence height. The applicant is requesting a 4-foot height in the fence as the fence was constructed ahead of time and past. This is a 20% request for the 1-foot variance to allow the already constructed fence to remain.
what is the HOA limit for them?
I'm sorry.
HOA about the fence?
Oh, I had to get approval just to put that up
Ah.
already. So if you could, I'm not sure if you can tell from, probably not that neighbor, but the one on the other side. Essentially, there's 3 properties that all have the exact same fence.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was put in well before the idea of putting a pool in. So I know there's the 5 foot versus 4 foot, but again,
It pretty much has been our opinion, and I noticed in your documentation that you are including a lockable hard cover.
Yeah, so it'll be a safety.
And if
cover,
you do that,
lock.
you're absolutely fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
So in my opinion, I would make a motion to approve with the hard locking cover that fence is sufficient.
I second.
Motion made by Mr. Oster to approve variance case VA-21-07 for the second request to the fence height to allow the fence at 4 feet. Second by Ms. Sandar. On those voting, Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Oster,
Yes.
Mr. Shipley,
Yes.
Ms. Sandar,
Yes,
Mr. Trevs.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Good luck.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll be getting back to you guys one way or another.
Good luck with your pool.
Kind of go from there.
Enjoy.
Appreciate it.
Dave, I'll get you the contact for Delaware County Soil.
You have that?
Yeah, I'll yep, that'll work.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
I'm glad you brought up the cause of the parking cover, that way when somebody else asks, so they know what the fence is.
Well, yeah.
That's what we've done before, that's consistent.
Yeah, that's what we've been doing consistently, and I think a hard blocking cover is hard to beat. That's better than the fence, really. I mean, what more precaution do you need to take?
The next application will be presented to you by Mr. Wempkin.
Brett?
Yes, Brett Wempkin.
Yep.
All right, this is for variance case VA-21-08. Starting with the staff report. The applicant and owner is Mr. Anil Marini. The subject property is 5716 Job Street, Lewis Center, Ohio, 43035. Parcel ID number 318-210-17-003-000. Current zoning of the property is a single-family planned residential district, and the request is to seek an area variance from rezoning case 19680 Meadows at Lewis Center to allow for a 3-foot and 7-inch variance into the 35 feet rear yard setback. Again, this is requesting an area variance from rezoning case 19680 Meadows at Lewis Center. The subject property is located west of Job Street. The surrounding area is all zoned single-family planned residential district. Surrounding them are single-family residences, as well as to the west is open space, which is owned by the HOA. There in that site photo provided, you can see that there's a hill behind the property there. Provided in the staff report is a zoomed out aerial showing the property and also a zoomed in aerial. Again, there to the west of the property, you can see where that hill is located. There's a correction in the staff review. It states the swimming pool, that should be corrected to the deck. This is an area variance from rezoning case 19680 Meadows at Lewis Center. And the proposed deck will encroach 3 feet and 7 inches into the rear yard setback. This would be a 10.2% request. And Exhibit 1 shows the proposed deck. There are some site photos provided by Google Street View and Google Satellite, as well as some site photos that we went out and took. This picture there with the cone shows where the deck would go out to in the yard. Again, that picture there shows the hill behind the property. And then that last photo where Mr. Beard is standing, that is the edge of the property line. Then Mr. Marini is here. If the board has any questions, if you would like to present.
Ms. Marie, would you come up? Could you please provide your name, address, and affirm that you've been sworn in?
Good morning, 5716 Joseph Street, Lewis Center, Ohio. And I'm requesting to for 3 foot 7 inches extension for building a deck. So, I'm requesting for 3 foot 7 inch extension for the deck. And I lived in a previous house with which has a patio in it. So this is my new house built in 2019, and I would like to put a deck on it. That's how I came to know that there's a setback on this. Apply for variance.
What determined the dimensions of your deck?
My previous house, the patio had the same dimension, we felt that that is the enough required space. So even though in our previous house it was bigger patio, we did, so we kept 16 feet, 16 by 18, so the same thing I'm requesting here. I think that's the right size. I don't need a bigger space, anything less than this. That seems to be right.
Is there an HOA at your location, sir?
Sorry?
An HOA, homeowners association?
Mhm.
Have you requested approval?
I'm waiting for this to get approved. I already, last night I sent a request to the sketch and everything. I was not aware of the process, so I just applied for this. I didn't know the setback requirement. So then I got an email saying that I need to apply for either, if I want a bigger space extension, I need to apply for a variance process. That's why I started the process.
Usually everybody starts with the HOA first because it's cheaper. It's about $50.
Okay.
Then they come here.
It's 25%, so last night I dropped it. So
But you're okay.
I'm learning through the process now. I submitted my application also.
Right.
I didn't even expect that this will go into the variance process. So I didn't know that there's a setback limitation.
Are there any other questions or concerns?
Anybody? Based on the size of your request, I don't think it's unreasonable. I'll make a motion to approve VA 2108.
I will second that. And I was glad to see it's not going into the draining easement on this one.
Yes, I think after hearing this,
Yep.
unfortunate.
Yep. You know, because that can be important, even though it's not in our purview. And I see yours has the catch basin that is like right behind your 30-foot.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, it should, because I'm not that good at it. 16 feet seems to be enough for my family, that's why. And I think it's, unfortunately, it came into that limit. I'm not getting the easement.
Okay, so there's a motion made by Mr. Miller to approve variance application VA-21-08. Second by Mr. Oster. Those voting, Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Oster,
Yes.
Mr. Shipley,
Yes.
Ms. Sundar,
Yes?
and Mr. Krebs.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Good luck with it.
Thank you. Enjoy.
Actually, the hill.
And just for the board's knowledge, we had minutes listed on the agenda, but we did not get them. They were not completed in time, so
Okay.
they will be pushed back to another meeting. So
Okay.
that is all the items that we have on the agenda for this evening.
So do we have a meeting for next month as it stands now, or?
Yes,
Okay.
How many on the docket?
2.
2?
Okay.
With that being said, meeting adjourned.